Chapter 81. A look at stellar world order. Say I, behold, this palace is a chief lecturer's dwelling in this area you have already seen. All yonder school huts are under his supervision, and the objects swimming upon the lakes are employed at certain times for instruction in higher wisdom. But the way this dwelling is, there are many hundreds of thousands just upon the central equator of this light world, besides an enormous number of cities of the greatest variety. Besides this equator, of the smallest variety that you are seeing, there are another 76 additional equatorial belts, of which each has its peculiar setup. This world, like the previous, actually are two suns like the one giving the earth its light, with the difference that the one seen first is 1,000 times bigger than the sun of our earth, whilst the one you are now seeing is 4,000 times so. But our sun is 1,000 times 1,000 times bigger than this whole earth. The men of this earth, nevertheless, still have a completely faulty concept of the earth and the sun and moon and all the stars. But when at a more remote time they learn to calculate more accurately, then they shall also gain more appropriate concepts about the heavenly bodies within the endless space of creation. But you may know that around every such sun, earths like the one we stand on are orbiting at various distances, and that several of these earths have satellites constantly accompanying them, like the moon around our earth. Each sun has as many equatorial belts as the number of related planets it supports. With the exception of the central sun, which are destined for the maintenance and guidance of planetary suns, and are by 1,000 times 1,000 times 10,000 times, that is 10 billion times, bigger than the suns you have now seen. Such central sun no longer is divided into equators, equatorial belts, but into as many zones upon its surface as the terrestrial suns it has to support. That is, suns of our sun's magnitude. Where such region then has an area between 1,000 to 10,000 times the surface area of each sun, together with its orbiting planets, areas. The number of Earth suns orbiting a central sun, however, is at least 1,000 times 1,000. A galaxy or galaxy of the first order, the editor. Then, nonetheless, there are central suns around which, in turn, 1,000 times 1,000 of the just mentioned central suns, with all their planetary suns, orbit. A supergalaxy, or galaxy of the second order, the editor. And again, central suns around which central suns of the second type are moving. Supergalaxy, or galaxy of the third order, the editor. And finally, a common central heavenly body situated at the incalculable space depth of a central sun region, having no movement other than that around its own axis. This central body also is a sun, but of such immense magnitude that all the planetary and central suns of the first, second, and third order, together with all the earths and moons orbiting the countless planetary suns, in addition to the thousands of moving comets of all sizes which, as worlds to be, move in irregular trajectories around the planetary suns, in total can't make up even a 100,000th part of the volume of the said main central sun. If same were a hollow sphere, centre of a universe, the editor. Jara, can you now form a concept of what has been said? Says Jara, Lord, who can grasp such immensity? A concept, of course, I can formulate, but it makes me dizzy. I have now had my fill of viewing this sun too, yet still do not comprehend how I should find the answer therein about the immature nations from earth in the great beyond. Say I, well then, withdraw first your eyes from the watched sun, and hearken to me. Says Jara, Lord, it is done.